This video is on the gut and mitochondria and how the interrelationship of these two things will play a role in how well your gut works and also whether or not you have enough energy to replace and rebuild things that you need. So let's talk a little bit more in detail. I want to help you to understand what mitochondria are if you don't already know. These are the powerhouses of the cell. They are what's generating the energy in all of our cells, not only muscle cells or adrenal cells, but also colonocytes, which are the cells that line the digestive tract. And if we're going to have success in getting this gut back to working order, we need to understand that they need energy. The other thing you also have to understand, and we're going to hit a little bit later, is digestion is an expensive process of energy. And if we're going to heal, we sometimes need to shut down digestion in order to be able to do that. We'll talk about that in a minute. But let's go back to mitochondria. These powerhouses, these are the generators of energy. If you've ever heard of the words Krebs cycle, it's a system or a changes that happen in a cycle. And this cycle has to do with converting food like glucose into usable energy units like ATP. And generally from one glucose molecule, which is the breakdown of a carbohydrate, this will generate, once it goes through the Krebs cycle and then on through the electron transport chain, will generate about 46 to 48 ATP. Now, let's put this in perspective. You're using millions of ATP per day for everything. And you need as much as possible, and you need to be yielding as much from that food. That means you have to have effective digestion. It also means that you have to have it running through this cycle and generating all of the energy units that it needs. That means the Krebs cycle has to be working properly. All the steps have to be working. It means you have to have the enzymes that are there, whether it be magnesium or copper, whether it be vitamin B6 or others that are required for these steps to take place. Like the methylation we talked about in the previous video, those are dependent on enzymes and coenzymes. And many of those things are the minerals and the vitamins that we need from our food. And a lot of us are not getting that from our food because we're eating processed crap. So it begins by eating healthy fruits and vegetables. And then it also needs to have healthy digestion to happen. So getting back to the Krebs cycle will run these through and it'll generate this energy. And this energy is going to be used for digestion. It's going to be used for repair. It's going to be used for detox. It's going to be used for whatever your body needs. And if you think of the body as having, let's just say 1,000 jobs, which it's way more than that, it's going to triage, meaning it's going to say, okay, I've got enough energy resources for 500 of these jobs, and I don't have enough right now until I get more energy to do these other jobs. Well, guess what? Healing and repairing, these are all part of the lower end of the priority scale, all right? Especially repair. Now, obviously, if you have an open wound, that's a higher priority for the body. It's going to close that wound up so that you don't die. Anything that's going to keep you alive is going to be a higher priority. But those things are going to need to be repaired in order for your body to work better and work more at an optimal level, are going to be on the lower priority scale. So we have to have enough energy resources to do that. And the way we do that is make sure that we have enough healthy mitochondria. The mitochondria are required, they need certain nutrients in order to function properly, all right? And we touched on a few of those. There are several products out there that are going to help your mitochondria to work better, but by far the most important thing are some of the tools we'll talk about. And one of the ways that you do, that you help your mitochondria to continue to rebuild is you go after those things that are destroying it. And Lyme, mold, toxins, these destroy the mitochondria. And you need to fix what's causing the destruction. So we want to find out what's causing the destruction of the mitochondria, and then you need to rebuild it. But some of the tools are going to be sleep. You have to have regular, consistent sleep in order to rebuild some of this mitochondria. You have to have sunlight, and you have to have infrared and near infrared. The near infrared that's often in a lot of the saunas, but you can also get by getting outside in the sun for a few minutes every day in the morning and at night. This is going to penetrate the skin and get into the deep areas of the body, including the mitochondria, and help those processes to work better. So if you're not able to access sunlight on a regular basis, especially in the wintertime, I use a laser that has infrared and near infrared. And that tool I'll just put over my heart, I'll put it over my liver, I'll put it over my gut, just putting it on there for 2 to 5 minutes in each area. I'll put it over my brain even. And then I'll also have it far away and I'll actually look at it. So some of these tools are very low cost, but you have to rebuild that. And then exercise also helps you to build more mitochondria. It doesn't have to be aggressive exercise like running or heavy weightlifting, but walking is important, swimming, biking, all these things, yoga, meditation is another one that's going to help you. Is you've got to manage stress. Stress is another thing that will help to destroy mitochondria and cortisol. So if you can manage your stress a little bit better by just doing meditation, whether it be a 10-minute session, 5-minute session, or a 30-minute session, focusing on your breathing, getting more oxygen into your system, those are all helpful. I like a thing called NSDR, Dr. Huberman talks about. This is non-sleep deep rest. It's kind of like yoga nidra, and it's focusing for about 10 minutes a day on your breathing and on your body and on getting back control of your nervous system. That will help you to start to restore the balance that your body needs. It's going to help you get refreshed. It's going to help to rebuild your mitochondria. Some of the nutrients that are helpful, again, are B complex, making sure you're having a healthy diet, proteins, carbohydrates, fats. But there is also another thing called acetyl-CoA, which is at the beginning of the Krebs cycle. And some people do not process fats. So phosphatidylcholine will sometimes help you to give, or acetyl-L-carnitine will help you to donate a little bit of that for that acetyl-CoA, so that you can actually make that conversion. And so sometimes those will help with the Krebs cycle and processing. Hydrogen, water is also important. It helps you to have more hydrogen available in the electron transport chain part of the production of energy. And so those are beneficial. I like a couple of different things, BCATP and ATP 360. Those are some of the things I have in my office that a lot of my clients will use. So let's touch back on digestion as an expensive process. And let's talk a little bit about intermittent fasting. So digestion is by far one of the more expensive processes in the body. And what I mean by expensive is that it uses a lot of energy to do it. And some of us, because of some recommendation way back, have gotten into the habit of eating every couple of hours. And every time you put food in your mouth or some type of drink that's not water, your body is having to digest that food, process it. If you are continually doing this, you're putting more and more stress on your body, and you're stealing more and more resources that could be used to work on rebuilding mitochondria or rebuilding some type of tissue or dealing with some other process that your body needs to, like detox. When you fast, especially overnight, you go into what's called mTOR, where your body is breaking down old mitochondria that need to be gotten rid of so that it can build new mitochondria. It's also breaking down old cells and getting rid of those old cells. It's kind of cleaning out the attic and cleaning out the basement. And it's cleaning up the junk that's in your body. And by doing this, it allows your body to know, okay, we've got to build new mitochondria. Well, there's an intermittent fast or time-restricted eating where for some time, maybe say a month or two, you do an eating pattern where you will stop eating at 8 o'clock at night, and then you won't eat again until 12 o'clock the next day. This is a little bit of an extended fast beyond what you're doing already at night, but it allows your body time to shut down the amount or use the energy it would have used to process your breakfast and process your mid-morning snack and process lunch, and really focus on the other things that it needs to do, like repair. So it allows you to conserve some of that energy that would have been used for digestion, to work on other things. So think about that as a possible strategy in helping your gut repair, is shutting down the need for digestion. Most of us have enough extra resources. There's very few people that are too thin to be able to do this. Now, not everybody, this isn't recommended for everybody, but this is a way that you can allow your body to start to repair itself by using resources that would have been used in digesting and processing the food that you're eating on a regular basis, and use it towards other things. This also helps you to become disciplined in other areas. And so we're going to be talking more about detox strategies, and then we'll talk about some supplements and other tools that you can do in the coming videos. So stay tuned.